Hello, welcome. This is the Resilient Rooster. I'm back with another Yu-Gi-Oh video, and today I'm going to be showcasing Magnet Warriors. So with the release of Extreme Force and the new ban list, this deck has a lot of more additions to it. You don't really need to rely on Topological Bomber Dragon, but that's still a play that you can go for. But with Scoldy, you can basically get your extra summon to basically summon your Fossil Dino. And with 3 total tribute, that can basically replace your Topological Bomber Dragon in some ways. So this is my deck profile for now. There's still, probably a lot of changes that you can do with this deck. But let's get right on to the replays. I feel like with the addition of Scoldy or the Skull Dread as a card, it's probably better to run the Plant Engine since it can get you a lot of Earth cards out, because your Block Dragon requires Earth monsters, and by using the Plant Engine, you basically can get a lot of Rock monsters to the grave. And basically here I'm just gonna keep going off. I only summoned it with 3 materials because the only one that I want is just to special summon, since that basically starts your play. So right now I go off and I make it to where I'm gonna end my board basically with access to my boss monster just in case anything happens with my field. So I searched this one because that's your boss monster of the deck, and I made it to where I'm not sure how a judge would rule this. Like, if they were to Raigeki me, would I lose my Block Dragon? Since my proxy my Block Dragon would live, right? Can I just destroy my Block Dragon to save my Monster Dino? I'm not sure if that works. But if it does work, then this field won't lose to Raigeki, since I could just tribute off, or not tribute, but just destroy my Block Dragon instead. But ask your judge before, you do this combo. Alright, so in this next replay, I basically have a similar combo since I have access to Brilliant Fusion. And remember, keep in mind that that board that you saw earlier, I'm not sure if it's ruled that way where you can destroy the card next to Proxy Dragon in order to save your monsters. Since that card technically wasn't destroyed, since it can be destroyed by card effects, can you destroy it with Proxy Dragon? I'm not sure. So that's something that I'm not sure how it's ruled. I think on DevPro, if you try it, or on YGOPRO, Raigeki will probably clear your field, but I'm not sure which one is the correct one. So right now I had a similar hand. I made it to where I'm gonna summon basically my Block Dragon equipped with Proxy Dragon and get my Fossil Dino out. And I feel like, this is basically straight up lockdown. I have 2 bounces with Firewall, and they can't special summon. And this is pretty much like, not a lot of decks can beat this. Especially if they normal summon, I could just bounce it with Firewall. So I basically secured game at this point, just attack for game. But yeah, this deck is, it's finally a Link deck, right? In this next replay, I'm playing against a zombie deck, and I didn't have a really good hand, but I did, the worst case scenario, you just make the Guardian and pass. At least you have 1 monster negate, and hopefully you have hand traps. So they outed my board through, the gold sarcophagus. I couldn't really do much about it, but they didn't. Looking at their hand, they didn't really have much. They did have the one that destroys 2 cards, so they have that going for them. But I set the Fossil Dino. Hopefully they overextend and I just flip my Fossil Dino and wreck their field. They did make the Vampire Sucker, which I had to go Soaker. They got rid of it through Vampire Sucker, so they still draw a card though. I didn't negate that part, but sometimes in Magnet Warriors, all you need is that 1 card to go off. So I've got the Beta, and with Beta, I basically have a Rock monster, so I can use my magnetic field to basically summon my monster and just keep spamming the board. I basically sent the last piece, I believe, and I made my Berserkion. They tried to destroy my Berserkion, but that just, lets you bring all your monsters. And now I basically have enough for game. With Mrs. Radiant, you increase all your Earth monsters by 500, and you just basically attack. If anything goes wrong, I basically could just link out later on. I could make Skull Deep if I wanted to, or the Skull Dread. Alrighty, so in this next replay, I'm playing against the updated version of Spirals, and they get to go first. I did open up a very good hand going first, so as long as they don't have a field, I can basically, basically have enough to destroy their board. I also have the Torrential Tribute just in case, they overextend. I can at least blow it up. So my opponent, they didn't have a good field since I ashed them, but they also had ash, so they stopped my field basically. They let me search, that way they get rid of my zone. so I can't use my zone. So I was kind of at an uphill battle. I still had the Brilliant Fusion, but you know, sometimes I had to set my Brilliant Fusion, that way there's a 50-50 shot that he won't hit the Torrential Tribute. And they aimed for my Torrential Tribute, so I immediately just chained the Torrential Tribute and knocked out all their cards. Looking back, I probably shouldn't. Actually, no. I set 2 cards because they had the Spiral Gear Utility Wire. So if I just set 1, they would have bounced it back and I would have gone off my Torrential Tribute. So that's why I set 2. I remember now. So I finally used my Brilliant Fusion. They Utility Wired me. And it's pretty much kind of hard for me to come back. But I felt like, you know, not a lot of decks have a card that can send it back to the deck. And Spiral is that one exception. So at this point, they basically had enough for a game. They attacked me, and I blocked the damage for the other one, but with the Spiral Sleeper that can destroy 2 cards, it's kind of hard for any deck to come back when you're top decking. So I lose this game. Alright, so in this last replay, I'm playing against Trickstars, and I didn't open up the best hand. But I would say that this was like the one time where I sort of bricked. So out of those 5 duels, this was it, and I tried to play through it. But they also, I didn't know what deck they were playing either, because the only thing they did was Pile of Desires and just summon Eater Millions. So at that point, you know, they just said 2, and I felt like I was playing like some banished deck right now. They got rid of my field, but I used my Magnetic Field. Magnetic Field is a very good card since it's basically a non-removal target. You basically attack them, whatever happens to your monster, you can just bounce it back to their hand. But they striked my summon of my Alpha, because if I had another Magna Warrior just to send, I could use my Magnetic Field to basically reborn a rock monster. And at this point, I drew all my level 8s. that usually never happens. You usually, you know, search most of these cards out, and you usually want to send, you know, the Block Dragon with Brilliant Fusion. So at this point, they finally used our Trickstar engine, and they had enough for a game. So that's it for the replays. If you enjoyed the video, please click the like button. If you want to follow me for more Yu-Gi-Oh content, please click the subscribe button. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.